Welcome back to my collection vlog. I guess I call it that. I don't know what I call it. Anyways, you just missed something super funny for one. Right before I started this video, a loud claps of thunder happened. I'd about jumped off of this stool. I said a few choice words. It was quite funny. So it may still happen during this video. So yeah, we are dealing with storms outside. Also, my TV is kind of loud in the background because I'm listening to the weather to make sure nothing gets out of hand, because we are in Oklahoma. This is considered Tornado Alley. So, you know, we just got to kind of keep our guard up. Sounds like a very bad drinking this morning. Promise, I ain't had a drop of liquor in over 4 years. Not because AA made me, it's just because of my kidney being, you know, cut out by doctor, you know, so I kind of have to baby the other kidney. Wow, let's just pour out my life story. Let's just get to the damn palettes before I keep on pouring out more shit to y'all. So, as the title says, this is my Profusion Collection. I just thought it was easier just to throw Profusion in its own video because I have so many of them. So, right off the bat, we'll start off with my collection of my pressed glitter palettes by Profusion. I'm going to kind of go through this a little bit fast because I do have a lot of palettes. So this is Aqua Gems. It's just a blue pressed glitter. This is Amethyst Gems. A purple toned glitter palette here. This is the Ruby Gems. These are kind of red toned. And the Topaz Gems. This is kind of our yellow-orange palette. And my nose is going to start again. I was doing good for a little bit and now it's going right back. Anyways. Okay, so I had to, you know, sneeze as usual. Also, just a quick word about these. I did a kind of, not a review, but kind of a review and talked about these in a video titled My Peak Palettes. So you go look at that video if you want more in-depth kind of on those. So my next little palette coming up, it is a little palette. It's the little mini rubies. These were the Christmas 2019 ones that they did. They had like was it 4 or 5 colors of these, and they released these. They were like $2, really cheap, which we'll show you in a bit. I got this because it's red, it's rubies, and yeah, I mean, it is kind of a red tone. I mean, that one is really close to red because this is a red table, so see how close that is. I've swatched it, but I haven't used it on my eyes yet, and there is a reason for that. So that's a good little palette. I don't know if those are still available or not, since it was a Christmas thing. I know Profusion had them on their website. It was clearancing them out, so I don't know if they're still there or not. But this is the Profusion Chestnut Eyes palette. These are like the smaller $6 palettes. This is probably my most, or maybe not my most neutral. I still say my most neutral, but I love Profusion's brushes. Comes with these. I think that's why I collect these so much, because one, they come with really, really good brushes, and it's just so affordable to get these palettes. So I pretty much have about every palette. I'm lacking a few here or there because they're really neutral palettes, and I don't want neutral palettes. I don't like neutral brown colors. So even though I did get this one, but I wanted to try this formula to see if it's any different than any of the others, and it's not really. It just comes in different packaging is pretty much the only difference, and it's a different price range. This was, I can't remember if it's $6 or $7 at Walmart. Okay, now we're gonna go into my group here. They're my neon palettes. I think that these are sold in Walmart. I'm not 100% for sure, but I got these when they first launched off of Profusion's website. So we have the Bangin' Pinks. We have the Upbeat Orange. I'm going to read that. Electric Blue and Yellow Fusion. So the Bangin' Pinks look like that. These are just $5. And they are pretty vivid colors. Not as neon as some of my other palettes, but they're pretty vivid. They will definitely work for somebody who doesn't necessarily, wow, my dog's going crazy. Okay, it doesn't necessarily want like a bright neon. Maybe they just want like a rainbow color. These are perfect for rainbow looks. So that's the orange. This is the yellow. Now the yellow is not as yellowy as I thought it was going to be. Really, your only two yellowy colors are these two here. The rest are kind of like mustard, brownish mustardy yellow in tone. So okay. Whew. Let's see if I can breathe now. Okay, this is the electric blue. This is a really pretty blue. And this will get mentioned again here before too long. So keep your mind on this one. So now we're going to jump into this group of palettes here, which I have a lot of these. These are also the $5 palettes. They come like the little smaller size of the large palettes. So I have violets and I have rubies, and that's why I mentioned this. They released these in March, I believe, and as you could tell, these are the same colors. There are these mini rubies. So these came out before, and I guess they did so well that they decided to do these $5 ones. So I got the same colors right through here in this palette. So if you really do like the minis, just go for these palettes here. Like I said, I think there was 4 colors to the minis, and all 4 of the colors, because there's the violet one, and there's the ruby one. There was an emerald one. There it is. And then there was the sapphire one. Now, why I got the sapphire one out really quick, I wanted to show you something, or tell you something about this palette here. They released 2 years ago a sapphire palette, and I don't know if it's the same as this one, but this one is not that great. This is probably my worst Profusion palette I have. It just, the blues just don't perform very well. They're quite streaky, especially these darker blues. I had trouble using this palette, and I've never had trouble using Profusion palettes. So that's why I told you to keep your mind on this one. This one is a totally different formula. Even though you don't get those like brown tones that you get in this palette, you pretty much get like the same colors. This one does a lot better. So if you're looking for a blue palette, you thought about this one, I would kind of steer clear of this one and go for this one right here. So yeah, even though it is pretty, I mean, if you're a collector like me, it's just $5 to have your collection. It's the way I'm looking at it. So now this is the emeralds. I have used this one once, and I did like it. Like I said, this has been the only one out of this style of palette that I just haven't liked. But this one's good. This one's really good. And it's really showing up like that's neon, but I don't know why it's showing up so neon. Both of these are. And they're not that bright when I look at them. So it's kind of funny how they're really showing up bright on my camera and not in real life. Normally it's the opposite. It's vice versa. So the rubies, I love this palette. And that's why I haven't really reached for the little palette, because I've been using this one. And you can't even tell I've really been using it, but I've been using this one. So I really like this one. If you want the red, this is kind of more of a red-orange tone based kind of color. This is not like the blue-based red. This one's still fun at $5. So they also have, these are some of the ones I'm missing in this style here. There's a, what am I thinking, like a nudes colored one, kind of like the Huda Beauty New Nudes kind of color vibes. There's one more, and I think it's a brown palette, like just neutral browns, I think. I can't remember right off a hand, but here is the violets. I've used the violets. This one works really well too. So if you're a purple lover, all that pink, I was going to say pinkish purple. Yes, there are some pinkish purples, but then we also have some that are a blue-based purple. So it's kind of a mixture of both tones of a cool and a warm purple. Still a good palette for $5. But my favorite two out of that color, well, here on the table, my favorite two are these right here. Especially that one. This was my kind of first one of these. This may have even been my first Profusion palette ever. I don't really 100% remember, but I love this one. This one's got some major dents in it. Whenever I do my bright colored looks, up until recently, now I have more options for color. But for a long time, this was the only one I really had that had good color pigmentation and payoff. So I went to this one all the time, as you can see. I really got some dips in this one. This is a really, really good rainbow palette. I highly recommend this palette for sure if you want a nice and cheap rainbow palette for your collection. And then this is the newest one that came out with those gem ones. This is the neon. And this is more of a, I kind of want to say pastel, but not really. It's a little brighter in tone, to where this one's like a deeper in tone kind of rainbow, and this is more of a lighter, more, I guess, neon in tone. I've used this a couple of times, and I do like it, but this one does require, if you want this vibrant of a color to stand out, requires a white base, like a white concealer or whatever you've got, a white crayon, eye crayon, something just so these colors can really just pop out. But the Spectrum one, you don't even need the white base for them to really pop out. But I still say go ahead and use that white base to really get the color payoff. That's what I always do. So I'm running out of room here already. And I'm only halfway through my collection. If that tells you anything, I should have paused the camera while I was doing all this, because now I'm jiggling around the camera and everything. Okay, so here, another group of palettes I have. This came out during Christmas this year, and I believe that these were only meant to be for UK sales. I think they made them for their drugstores in the UK, and then after Christmas, they all of a sudden went on Profusion's website. They're cheap, so that's why I grabbed them, and I still think that they're on Profusion's website. So this one's the Mixed Metals Arctic, and they've had the mixed metals, and I had one of those first palettes of mixed metals, and it was okay. It wasn't my favorite. It was more the color story than the formula. So I got rid of that. I gave it to a friend. But this one is like a gray and purple toned. I have not used these at all. I keep on forgetting I have them because I put them down in a drawer I have. So I keep on forgetting. But this really isn't my color story. I just grabbed it because it went with this set. So, and I wanted the complete set. And these were only like, at the time when I bought them, they were like $3 or something like that, because it was like 50% off or something. So this is the nudes, mixed metals. This is definitely a neutral lover's palette. You can see why I haven't used it. This is really boring, but I keep it because I like the packaging of these. I like those for some reason. I just don't know if I'm ever going to use these because of the colors. This is the Glam palette. This one I might come more near using because it is a little bit interesting, brighter, colorful, I guess you'd say. So if you kind of like those, I would definitely go check out Profusion because I think they're on clearance. Like I said, I think I've seen them on there within the past month. So now we're going to go to my big stack over here. These are my bigger, larger palettes here. Try to go into order the way they came out. I remember, I think it was these first. Okay. Might have to, there we go. So this one is the Profusion Mattes palette. This is an all matte palette, and it does have a companion to it, and the companion is coming up. But this is a really good if you just want just nothing but mattes, and it has a mixture of colors. You have neutrals, you have your cool tones, your warm tones. It has everything, and it comes with the brushes that I freaking love. But I still think you could still get these. This is the companion palette to that last one. This is nothing but metals, so this is metallics. And it's a good companion to this one, because you have all your mattes, you have all your metallic shimmers here. So once again, you have a nice array from browns to blues to pinks to golds. So you definitely have a, and this is a double-sided. I don't think this went with the palette though. I think it was just a single. So, because I did give one of my Profusion palettes away and I kept that brush. So that's why that's in there. Now, this is the Sultry. This is kind of one of those boring ones, but it was on clearance at my Walmart. Pretty cheap. It was like $3. So I went ahead and just got it just to have it in the collection. But it's kind of a, to me, a boring tone, a boring palette. But it would give you a really smoky eye look. Well, it looks really brighter on camera than what I've seen in person. In person, it looks a lot darker than that. But it's a good palette. I have used it a couple of times. I mean, it performs well. It's just not really my color story, but I'll probably just keep it in the collection anyways. Because I'm pretty sure they're probably going to start discontinuing these out if they already have it. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and keep them in my, in my collection. I got the hiccups now, really? I go from my nose running to the hiccups. So this is the next group here. Now these two came out in Christmas. Was it 2017? I think it was 2017 Christmas when these came out. So this is the Wanderlust. And that's why they look different. I think they're going to this layout. And they have the round layout here for this one. You got the double-sided brush. I love this one. I love the green and the blues and the purples in this one. It was definitely a fun palette to play around in, especially when I was doing holiday looks for the greens. So, like I said, I think they might still have this one, but I think it's going to be one of those that's going to be discontinued pretty soon. So if you kind of like that color story, I would go ahead and grab it now. Confidence is, unfortunately, I think it's already gone. I haven't seen it in a while on Profusion's website. And they probably already done away with it because it's a very warm tone palette. And warm tones are kind of like going out of style now. So I got one that's leaking. Anyways, I like this palette. I love warm tones. They're my favorite. These are what I call my neutrals. My neutral tones is these warm tones like this. These are my favorite to use. Then we have this one. This is the Pro Pigments. This is, it's okay. I mean, it has some really pretty pink tones in it. It has a lot of browns and some purples. It's okay. Like, most of this colors up here are more eye toppers than anything. But if you like these tones, it's perfect. And they're, like I said, they're so cheap and affordable. And really good for the price. I'm running so much out of room here. Stack these here, maybe. So I've still got a stack to go. Like I said, I'm only missing so many of the Profusion palettes. So this was part of this year's Christmas edition that wasn't released to us till after Christmas. It's the Stardust collection. There is the inside. So we do have some pressed glitters. I have not tried this brush. It really looks interesting to me. Like I said, I totally forgot about this palette because it's down in my drawer too. Because it takes up a lot of space. It's very boxy. But it has some really pretty different colors throughout it. Like I said, it's very boxy as you can see because we have stuff on the sides of the box. So we have pressed glitters. We have eye primer, eyeliner, glitter glue, and a mini matte lipstick. See, I haven't even touched this stuff. And then over here, we have face products. We have highlighters and, looks like just highlighters, another brush, and blushes. So, this was dirt cheap too. I think this one was like $5 when I bought it. It might still be on the website. I think the last time I looked, it was still on there. So, it's just fun. It's also fun to play around with the stars because I'm still a kid at heart like that where I still play with stuff like this. So, yeah. Alright, sorry, I had to get those out of the way so I can make room. So, here we go. This is Lovestruck. Lovestruck is one of my favorite palettes. I really, really love this one. I love the tones in it. We have purples and pinks. And then you have like a, I guess what you call nude tones with the pinkish nudes. You have kind of these sultry, smoky colors down here. It's really a good all-around palette if these are the kind of tones that interest you. I don't know why these are looking so yellow in the camera. These are more flesh tone color in real life, but I really, really like this one. It really kind of sucks in a way because I don't put the brushes in here anymore in these newer palettes, but I guess I could sacrifice not getting my brush because I probably have like 30 of them in the other palettes. So that's a really good palette though. I really, really love it. Alright, next palette we have the Mirage palette. This is probably my second favorite. Who am I kidding? About all these are my favorites. I really like this layup because I love the colors they actually threw with these. Now this is more of a neutral lover's dream here. You do get a few pops of color like this orange, this pink, and this purple. But for the most part, this is really just a warm tone brown palette. It's really close to the Confidence palette, the one I just showed you. I think this is kind of the remix of that because we have some of the same tones that's in the Confidence palette that's in this palette. So, and then plus you just get the pressed glitters in this one. So, yeah, I like this one too. I'm trying to set them off. Ooh, without them breaking. Oh Lord, they about fell off back there. We about had a blooper reel for sure of me cussing because I dropped my palettes. So, this is Paradise. This is kind of the boring palette, I guess. I mean, it's not boring, but it's very cool tone for one. But it's more muted down colors, more darker in tone kind of colors. But you still get some pops of color here and there. But this is a cool lover's dream because you do have very cool ashy browns, and so, but still it is pretty. I have played with it some when I've needed these types of colors, so it's definitely a cute little palette. I'm gonna go ahead and pause it to make sure I didn't drop any back here behind me. Okay, next palette is Sunkissed. I can't say that these videos are professionally done. I'm nowhere near professional for sure. So, oh, Sunkissed, your names did stay on the lid here. Okay. So that's Sunkissed. And I've got another one. Kind of throwing stuff everywhere. Now these all look about the same, and they pretty much are. I mean, there's slight tones or color differences in the tones, but other than that, they're pretty much the flesh tone. But I do like this palette. I like the grungy green and yellow row, and we have some oranges, then we have like some peachy colors, pink peachy, purples. This really cool like bluish gray row. This one is really cool if you just want some really unusual grungy type colors. You get some pressed glitters in there. This is a fun palette to play around with. Now my next one is Festival. Festival is another really fun palette. Hopefully I'll drop that, try to talk about this one and move that one. The Festival is a bright palette. It has a lot of the same colors as the, oh Lord, really? I went blank. What's that palette called? Spectrum, there we go. Yeah, it has a lot of the same colors as Spectrum in this palette. So if you basically, if you want this palette, you may not even need this palette here, but I am a palette collector, I guess you call me. So palette whore, basically. So yeah, I have to have them all. So you definitely get a rainbows of colors in here, along with a neutral row. Actually, 2 neutral rows. This they're kind of a neutral browns. They're not really warm, they're not really cool, so you're kind of a neutral browns to go with all these colorful colors. So you have yellow, orange, pink, purple, and blue rose. Very fun palette. I really like this one too. This is up there with my, they're pretty much all my favorites. Who am I kidding? I keep on saying this was my favorite, this one's my favorite. And this is the newest one. They also have another one of these I have not gotten yet. I can't remember what the layout of it is, but I'm not for sure why I even got this one, because it's very basic, neutral, cool tones. I think it was because all the pressed glitters, because we have a lot of pressed glitters, we have a lot of shimmers, metallic shimmers in this one, So I think that's why I grabbed this one. I figured it was going to be a popular one, so I hurried up and grabbed it. But this one is really pretty. I've used it once so far, and it performs just like all the rest of them. Nothing really special or different or anything. So, I like that one. But I definitely need to get the other one that's in those sets. And then there was a couple of new ones of the other sets. So, yeah. Okay, so this is part of that Christmas collection. This is called Frostbite. This is just a really basic bitch palette. It's pretty neutral, but it was dirt cheap, so that's why I grabbed it to add to my collection. Plus, it's really pretty packaging. This is very different from the Profusion that we kind of have here. They get cardboard-ish type packaging over there. So, it might still be on their website. I'm not 100% for sure on these. But I just thought I'd show it to you anyways, because like I said, it's part of my Profusion collection. So, like I said, really pretty packaging. And then last, but certainly not least, this probably is my favorite palette, I would have to say, from Profusion. Unfortunately, I got this at Walmart, because I'm going to wait till the reveal it, you know, at the very end. I got this one at Walmart. It is sold out at my Walmart. It's sold out on Profusion's website, and I don't know if it was just something that was just limited edition that they were only going to do a certain amount of, that was it, or if they're going to bring it back after this Corona bullshit's over with. But this, oh, I love this palette. And if you ever get your hands on it, you see it at Walmart, grab it. This is huge. This is like the mother of all palettes that Profusion has made. This is the Kaleidoscope palette. And it's got everything you can want in one palette. You have some, of course, a whole big, these are huge pans of pressed glitters down here. You also have these colors that could double as both eyeshadows, or you could also use these as contours because they're such a huge palette, or they're such a huge pan. So that could be like a double of both. And then you have just such a bright array of different colors. You do have neutrals with this row, and then there are some browns that are scattered about. But other than that, it's mostly colors. So I freaking love it. And this one is one of the last ones that they put out. So this formula is a tad bit different than the last ones I just showed you, in a good way. Kind of. If you like this formula, I'm going to show you. These are the metallics, and they are super buttery soft. As you can see, I just barely press in them, and they move around. So that may be an issue for some. For me, it's not, because they actually go on my eyes easier and more pigmented when they're kind of like that. There's another one that they're very soft and very creamy. They almost remind me of the ColourPop Super Shock shadows, but they are extremely softer than that, really. I guess a little bit more wet as well. But let's go ahead. That one is a little bit grainy feeling. That is a matte color though. This is the red that's in the palette. Let's do this blue. For some reason this blue here is saying, hey, swatch me. Oh, that swatched very well. I haven't touched that one. It's a pretty navy color though. Once you get it rubbed out, it was very patchy at first because it had a lot of kick up. That's what the kind of Profusion is. They'll have, you know, colors that have a lot of kick up, some that don't have kick up, you know. This one is nothing like the James Charles one because that thing is so inconsistent. This one, I pretty much know what I'm getting whenever I use this one. That is a very bright yellow for not to have a white base. Let's see. I'm about running out of finger space here. Let's do this one here. It's a really pretty, and it's kind of one of those softer toned or softer formula. So this palette is just, it's freaking awesome. I'm so glad my husband grabbed it for me when he did, because I said this one sold out really quick at our Walmart. It didn't last very long. Now this one is the most expensive palette I've seen Profusion come out with. This one at Walmart was $17 or $16. I think it was $16.97. I think on their website it's $17. So it's definitely more expensive, but I think it's worth it because you get So many different colors. You get all these pressed glitters. Then, like I said, you could use these as eyeshadows or as contour bronzer colors. So if you ever spot this one, get your little hands on it because you will definitely like it. It is well worth it. So that is my very long Profusion haul, over 30 minutes of Profusion stuff. So that's why I split this up into just having Profusion have its own video for the drugstore section of my vlog. Now then the rest of it, the rest of the drugstore will be all together because I still have quite a few in the drugstore category, but not as big now since Profusion had its own video done. So anyways, I hope y'all liked this video, and I hope it helped you out a little bit looking at the Profusion stuff. And I know I didn't go into a lot of detail about each palette because I have so many of them, so I was wanting to hurry up and go through each one of them as quick as I could. But if you have any questions on any of them you did see, leave it down below, and I'll gladly answer you. Or if it gives me inspiration, I'll do a video about that palette. And we'll go through the colors, and we'll swatch, and we'll do all that. So just let me know down below. Like I said, I'm always open for video ideas or just answering stuff in general, because this is one of my passions. Pinup and retro living might be my first. But makeup is definitely my second passion for sure. So, anyways, this is going on weekend for us. So this is probably my last video I get out. So y'all have a great weekend ahead of you. Stay safe. Wash your damn hands. Wow. See, this is why. This would be like the coronavirus germs. I haven't washed my hands yet. Okay. Anyways, wash your hands. Stay safe. And I love you guys. See you soon.